Hey there, I'm Alan Furstenberg,
I'm Xavier Portilla,
and we are Two Voice Devs.
two boys devs.
Hey everyone, Mark is out again this week, and there have been some interesting Alexa announcements. So I asked Xavier to come on and talk about them. And for starters, Xavier, am I pronouncing your name correctly, or at least close to correctly?
Is Xavi. The X is an S.
Xavier. Did I get closer that time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I invite Xavier on the show to talk about it. Why don't you introduce yourself a bit? Where are you from, and what do you do these days?
Yeah, I'm from Valencia, Spain, but currently living in Madrid. So yeah, I'm Spanish, and I work as a head of cloud at VoiceFlow. And right now, I am visiting the VoiceFlow offices here in Toronto, in Canada. And yeah, VoiceFlow, for the ones that don't know about it, is basically that the conversational AI platform where you can design and launch your assistants with no code, drag and drop blocks, super easy, and in less than, I don't know, like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, you have an assistant running. So yeah, I'm working there. I think you are like a wide user as well of VoiceFlow, right?
I'm actually a very infrequent user. I really only hadn't used it until a couple of months ago when I did it for the prompt hackathon that VoiceFlow was a sponsor of.
True. With OpenAI.
Yeah, and that got me into it. That got me really excited about what VoiceFlow can do. So uh, I feel like we're gonna have to bring you back on a future show to talk about VoiceFlow and what's going on there, because I know a lot is happening. Um,
Yes.
but before we get to the stuff that's with Alexa, um, can you tell a little bit about how you got into this industry? What your background is?
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. So I started like in this, like conversational AI field like in 2019, when Alexa arrived to Spain, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know, I don't remember like when or how I read like there were like apps for Alexa that are basically the Alexa skills. There are voice apps that are running on your Alexa enabled devices. So when I thought about it, it was like, okay, so in Alexa we can create really cool things, like not just basic skills that reproduces random sounds or white noises or something like that. It's like you can create things that could help people. So that was basically why I've started. So since 2019, I was like kind of advocating, for Alexa. Like I wrote a book in Spanish and also in English
Mm.
called The Alexa Revolution. That like it's from zero to hero in Alexa skill development. And I give like a bunch of talks and I wrote like a bunch of articles about Alexa and also about tooling, because I love like how can we integrate in the developer ecosystem, the developer tools in the conversational AI developer stuff, like how can we create or make the conversational AI developers lives easier. So that was the main thing. That was how I started and how it's going right now. And that's why I joined VoiceFlow.
Okay. Now, I know because I see you on the forums all the time. You also uh, write and talk about Dialogflow on Google side. So what's your involvement with Dialogflow? And we're probably going to have to talk about some updates that have come to Dialogflow recently another time. So we're going to have you on quite a bit, I suspect, in the future.
Yeah.
So what's your involvement with Dialogflow?
Yeah. So the Dialogflow CX involvement, of course, is like newer, you know, like because I started on the like Google ecosystem with Google Assistant, with Google
Mhm.
Action, which is the same as Alexa skills, but for Google Assistant. What happened is that Google Assistant, the Google Actions were sunset last month on June,
Yes.
unfortunately. But you know, like I created a bunch of articles as well and a bunch of talks about how to create Google Actions. And at the end, like the platform, the Actions console is quite similar, like the engine under the hood is quite similar to the Dialogflow CX one, which is the newer version of Dialogflow. So yeah, what I did is also like not only having like a focus, you know, on voice, like making this like wider and create content just like for conversational AI, like no matter the channel, which is I think the great path, you know. So yeah, that's what I did. And on CX, what I in Dialogflow CX, what I did as well is like creating a bunch of content. I developed the CX CLI, which is a CLI that you can automate. You can interact with your assistants, with your agents, and you can automate a bunch of, you know, like things in your CI/CD pipelines, in your day-to-day development. So yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, so very good. We're gonna have to return to all of this, like I said, but for now, one of there have been a couple of recent announcements that have been coming out of Amazon Alexa, and I think one that caught my eye was that they announced that there was going to be a new slot type that was available. And
Yes.
for those that aren't terribly familiar with slot types, you know, on the Google side, these were sometimes called entity types. This is a built-in slot type that lets you define what the what kind of parameters for a user's phrase might be. So this way, if they said something like, you know, I want to order 10 apples, that 10 is a slot, or would be a representation of a slot with a slot type of Amazon number, for example. And there are a number of other built-in slot types like date, time, phone numbers. There are some
Cities.
city, you know, so and then you can also define some of your own. One of the real challenges, though, has been for kind of more esoteric and weird ones like postal codes and other things that are a lot harder to define. So what's this new type that they've announced?
So the new type is the Amazon.alphanumeric, which is in public beta, except Arabic for now. But as you said, like there are weird scenarios or different scenarios that that require like this kind of slot. So for example, let's say that you create an Alexa skill that here in Spain, for example, you can know the year of your car, okay, just telling the plate.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
So for these kind of things, if you wanna create an Alexa skill and you have to spell your plate, before this slot was super complex. But with this slot right now, you can spell alphanumeric things like 1, 2, 3, 4, H, W, Z, for example, and it will transform that into a real value, into a string, and then you can manage that super easy. So you and me, Allen, on forums, on Slacks, yeah, on the Alexa official community, we have seen a bunch of questions like how can I or how is the best way to get the phone number, for example. It was complex because, for instance, the phone number depends on, you know, like the country, you know, like for
Mm-hmm.
instance, I think the US or Canadian numbers are fully different than the European ones or the Spanish one, you know. So with this slot, it solves a bunch of issues like that. So I'm so happy to see this happening. And yeah, and I think like under the hood, like all the ML stuff that is running to have these recognitions are like quite complex. So yeah, kudos to the Alexa team to release this thing. I'm quite happy, and it is gonna solve from the conversational AI design perspective a bunch of issues.
No, I definitely agree. I think previously we would have to, I've seen workarounds like telling people, give the license plate number and say a word for each letter.
Yeah.
Or, people would have to be trained in the international alphabet. So they'd say something like, Alpha, Bravo, Zulu, 429. And maybe it would pick it up, and maybe it would somehow treat the number TO, the number 2 is the word TO. And it was very messy what you had to do to get this information out.
Yes.
And now it's a lot simpler. So I think this is a great change. I do think it was interesting that it's not available in Arabic. I'm kind of, it's not available in Arabic, but it is available in some of the Asian languages, which I thought was interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see eventually how that will work its way out.
Yeah, but it's a great addition. I think the next one, if I have to pick like what the next slot or kind of thing, I would say like a regular expression one. That would be nice as well.
A regular expression one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's interesting because that's been available in Dialogflow for a while, and it's been available on some others.
Yes.
It does pose a lot of additional challenges, though. It would be interesting, and one of the things that I guess is now possible is that you could certainly enforce that sort of thing yourself using this alphanumeric type.
Yeah.
And get the type, and then check it against a regular expression yourself. And
Exactly.
this makes that sort of thing a lot easier to do.
Exactly.
No, so any other thoughts?
No. So happy and happy to see like what is gonna come on the Alexa ecosystem. And yeah, because everything that like comes to the Alexa ecosystem that makes like the development easier is widely welcome.
Definitely agreed. So it's not a huge update, but I think it's one that certainly has a lot of potential to make a lot of skills just a little bit easier for users to use, and that's kind of important in the end. So, as always, we'd love to hear people's feedback. You can leave comments here or on Twitter or LinkedIn. What's the best place that people can find you if they want to follow you and ask you some questions?
So that would be Twitter at Shavidop. That is gonna be the place, I think.
Very good. So again, thanks for joining us today, and everyone else, we will see you another time on Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs. See you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.